It is Wednesday, August 11th. I don't know if I already recorded today. I don't think I did, because this morning yeah. So anyways, it's been great. It continues to be so great. I mean, every day just continues. Every day is just, it gets better and better and better, and the stories just get better and better. It feels really great to be here. I had an appointment at 10, and it was to test out. It was like the last interview before I start working, but my internet was acting up, and so we decided to reschedule. So there's been a little delay in work, but I'm not worried. Everything will turn out exactly as it should. I'm not worried at all, and so I was actually kind of hoping that I wouldn't start today, because I wanted to go to this little bookshop all the way on the other side of town by Chinatown, and I wanted to go because they had my cousin's book, and this is my cousin's book. and so I wanted to make sure that I go. I was looking for it the last time I was here, and I couldn't find it, and so when I found out that it was there, I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna go. And then when I saw where it was located, near Chinatown, I was just like, oh, I want to go there. Like, I remember my B and I came to San Francisco for a weekend years ago for a girls trip, and we walked through Chinatown, and we just loved it. And so I hadn't done that, and so I was like, you know what, let me just go. Oh, so when I looked up how long it was going to take me to get there, it was 1 hour and 11 minutes. So I took that as a sign. 1. And so so as soon as I figured out the whole internet situation, and I think I found something that works. I'm going to try a Zoom test tonight and make sure that the connection is stronger, and then if it is, then I'll start that process up again tomorrow. But so I was kind of glad that, so after that I was like, okay, it's gonna take me 1 hour and 11 minutes walking to get there, right? I mean, I have the BART pass, and I wanted to walk. I want to check out the neighborhood, right? And just familiarize myself with the community and the shops and the stores and the people, right? And just the specific areas, and just pay attention to my community. And so, my new community. And so I walked and it was great. It was a wonderful walk. I had my headphones on, and then realizing, right, that I had to turn on Columbus eventually, and then it was a wonderful walk. It's just, I can't complain. And then I see the little bookstore, and I go inside, and a gentleman helps me out, and he's so great. And he actually knows my cousin, and I didn't tell him that I knew her. He's like, oh, they were here yesterday, and her and her mamacita were here yesterday. And I was like, oh, really? How exciting, like, because I knew they were there. And I'm like, oh, do you know them? And he's like, yeah. And so he was telling me about this event, and my cousin didn't tell me that she's speaking on August 19th. So I'm like, can you write that information for me so I could make sure I attend? And he said, yeah, it's through Zoom. And so I'm really excited, and I'm gonna le voy a llamar la atención and be like, why didn't you tell me you were doing this? So anyway, so he said it was I asked him for the book, and he said, that's funny, it's the last copy that they had, and it's at, on display. And I was like, can I have it? Because I've been looking for this book. And so I bought it, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to dive in and read that book. And so then I checked like where I was located, and then Fisherman's Wharf was like, only 20 minutes away. And I was just like, why not? I'm already here. So I walked an additional 20 minutes to Fisherman's Wharf. I didn't do the whole like Fisherman's Wharf walking around, I just saw, I got to the, like as I was arriving, I was already thinking about how I was gonna get back because I was just like, I'm tired. But just trying to find my route back. And so I found right at the bottom of the Ghirardelli Square, there's like that little beach, small little beach area. So I sat down there for a while and just, you know, soaked it all in, the fact that I'm here and that I have this great view that I can always come back and look at, and feeling the wind, and it's like this hot, cold, like I'm like super sweaty, but you know, it was so worth it. But just you know, just letting everything sink in that I'm here, like I'm really here, and that this is part of my neighborhood, right? The outer skirts of the city, and just being thankful and grateful in every moment, and just being present, right? And yeah, so I sat there and just relishing in the moment, and then in the back of my head I'm like, all right, you know, eventually I'm gonna have to make my way back. How am I gonna do it, you know? And so I mapped it out, and my battery, my computer, my phone was at 40%. I'm like, all right, I can't listen to music, and I don't want to put my GPS on. I'm gonna, you know, screenshot the streets so I don't forget, and make my way back. And so it took me down Polk, and so that was a different view coming up from like Chinatown, and then seeing Polk and the homes there, the apartments there, and then I was getting a little lightheaded. I was like, I need to eat something, and debating like, what am I gonna eat? But then I passed by this little shop, and it was a small antique shop, and there was just something about it. I was just like, I'm gonna turn in here, and it's the smallest little antique shop you've ever seen, like literally the smallest little antique shop you've ever seen, because it's a bakery. So it's a bakery / antique shop, and the gentleman there has been there for like 15 years, and he's like, have you been here before? I'm like, no, it's my first time. He's like, let me tell you about it. And so he's just telling me that, you know, he has cookies, and he has these, you know, lovely delights, and that it's also, he's like, if you like to look around, then he has a little small antique shop. So then I'm like, okay, where? So I'm like following him. And then I'm passing by. He's like, if you go a little too far, then I'm gonna have you work for me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I thought it was gonna be bigger, but no, it's a little closet size. This is just so fun. And so I'm like looking through the stuff, and there was a book that caught my eye, but I was like, oh, it feels a little heavy to be walking, you know, back home. So I put it down, and I'm like, you know, let me just get a little pastry. Even though I knew, I'm like, oh, you know, it's what the next consecuencias, right? I'm gonna have consequences, but you know, I wanted to support him for showing me, and so I ended up getting like this cute little lemon thing, and there was another gentleman there, and I was telling him, like, you know, I just moved here, and just looking for different little shops and stuff, and there was someone else there. He said he makes the best tres leches cake ever. I'm like, oh really? It's like, yeah, a cake or a slice is a key. He's like, no, a cake. If you ever want to take something somewhere, he makes the best one. So I was like, oh, good to know. Although I can have tres leches cake, you know, that's good to know for next time, you know, if people want to come over, and for me to show them around. Now that I know, right? I think my brother, actually my brother had told us, my cousin and I, that he wanted to bring the kids back, and to show him the best places to have this, the best places to have that. So I'm gonna have to eventually try this tres leches cake, and to determine if it's better than the one I have in my mind that I've tasted before. But it was great. And then on the way to Fisherman's Wharf, I actually ran into this man. I just saw him kind of like looking down the streets, and he had his camera, like a professional camera, and I just was watching him, and it just looked like he was looking for the right shot, was what the impression that I got. And we were kind of walking the same way, and so I you know, took off my earphones, and I asked him, like, have you found it? You know, the perfect shot. He's like, oh yeah, I found a few. I was like, oh, that's so great. And then we just kept walking, and then I'm like, we just started talking, and his name's Julio. He lives in Chicago, and moved from Seattle, and he just flew into San Francisco for a night to detach, to get away from it all, and just to do photography. And I asked him if that was his passion. He said, yeah. He's like, if I could get paid to do this, I would so do it. And we were talking about the Mission District. He had just been there, and that he loved the murals, and so it was, I was just sharing with him, and so it was just a nice walk and talk with a stranger, and yeah. So then coming home, there was these two guys. One of them randomly, I guess he must have seen me without my mask on, and then he walked by me. He's just like, you're so beautiful. I'm like, oh, I gave him eye contact. I said, thank you. And then I kept walking. And then there's the other guy who's just kicking back on the side of the Muni place station thing where you stand for the Muni, the bus. And then he looks at me, and what did he say? He said, hey, good looking, have you been looking for me? So then I responded, all my life, baby, all my life. And then he started laughing, and then he's just like, you've been practicing your lines. And I was just like, I have, actually. And so we had a good chuckle, and then I just kind of kept walking. So that was fun. And then just, again, I'm just, looking around my environment and becoming more familiarized with certain streets, and then I didn't realize until coming back, I saw this place going up, and I smiled and I laughed, and then I wasn't looking for it coming back. It happened to be on the same street coming back, and then I realized where I was. It's like, oh, okay. And it's this guitar and ukulele shop. It's called Blackbird. I had no idea it was called Blackbird. And I remember looking at it, like passing by it. Because that's one of the things that I do. Like when I pass by, when I'm on the street, I'm looking at what shops exist, right? Because when you look at the shops, it tells you a lot about the community, right? And just the flavor of that community. And at least that's what I was trained when one of the things I liked about my graduate program at SC was when there was a community organization class that I took, and organizing class, yeah, and he taught us how to look at our community, how to pay attention to things, the shops, the stores, how many of each shop there were, and what does that say about the community that you live in, right? And I remember he said, like, are there a lot of dental places? Are there a lot of like healthcare places? Are there, it speaks to what's important to the community, the types of restaurants, the types of, languages, if there's a variety of languages on there. So that's what I was doing. I was looking at each store to see what stores were on specific streets. And so this one I passed by, and I just smiled because it made me think of this fireside. Guitar, ukulele, and then it's called Blackbird. I just started laughing. And then it just made me smile on the way there. And then coming back, I saw it again. I was just like, oh, it's not that far from where I live. I didn't realize that it wasn't that far from where I live. And so coming back, there was this nice familiarity of like getting close to 17th Street, knowing like, okay, I'm close to home. Like this is my community now. Like I can actually say like, oh, I'm close to home. So it was nice. It was really nice to just have that experience. And and then coming back, there was I think it was like a block before 17th Street. I don't remember where it was, but I looked, and it's a corner like little food place, and they sold donuts, teriyaki, and burgers. And I was just like, what a combination. Donuts, teriyaki, and burgers. Whenever I'm gonna need donuts, teriyaki, or burgers. That's gonna be the spot that I'm gonna go to. And then I thought about my brother and the kids and how sometimes they each want something different. And that was funny. It was just like donuts, teriyaki, and burgers all in one spot on this corner. Like, good to know. Good to know. So that was my adventure for today, and it was great. It's 4:54, balanced. I need to eat something before I pass out. And but it's coming around. Like, I cleared up this space, so I'm getting ready to put the TV on, and then I'm gonna go take care of the space in my bedroom now, because the Wi-Fi is stronger in there, and that's initially where I wanted to have my my office, because I can seclude the noise a little bit better, because they're doing construction on the street. So just being mindful of that. Yeah. So yeah, it's been great. It's been incredible. I still, it just keeps getting better and better. Alright. That's all I have to report for now. That's all I have to report for now. We'll see what adventures lie ahead. Okay, take care. Bye. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me. So